Cattch, spelt with 2 T's, is a game that takes me right the way back to the golden era of Sega Master System, Mega Drive and PS1 style of platforming adventures, where it was just fine to have a colourful world with a colourful character and you just went around collecting things and trying to get to the exit, beating up some enemies along the way. It's simplistic maybe by modern day standards, but it plays really well. And I like some of the mechanics that are involved, so I wanted to do a video to give it a little bit of love. In Cattch you play as a cat in a rainbow costume, and the idea is that you need to get from entry to exit of the level collecting your 3 comrades as you go. Now these are locked behind some cages that you basically beat up and smash, and then they'll kind of follow you around for the rest of the level. And whilst you go through the level, you'll also want to be collecting stars as you go. Stars unlock future levels, so in theory you could actually potentially skip 1 or 2 in a world as you go through. There are 3 worlds in total and about 16-17 levels per world. However many you go for depends on how many stars you collect, although I recommend playing it all. In the game, you'll find that each of the world is broken into or built up by squares. But these squares are quite often in motion. And what I mean by that is that they're turning round. So sometimes there'll be safe squares that you can stand on, and then every couple of seconds they might disappear. Or they might turn into bitey squares. And by that I mean that they've got eyes and they're like monster squares and they've got like a mouth. Because if you stand on those, you die and you go back to the last checkpoint. Now, how this all works is that squares will kind of maneuver around. If you get caught in a square revealing itself back in again, you're splattered and killed, and that's that. But as you traverse around, it does give a kind of rhythmic quality to the way how you go platforming in this game, because you'll need to time your jumps to make sure you land on safe squares. Then it might kind of maneuver across like a little conveyor belt. And you'll need to avoid, say, like the bitey squares or the monster squares that reveal themselves in front of you, that kind of thing. You've also got enemies chasing you around, which you can beat up, and that helps you increase your score, or it might be that it adds more time to the time meter per level. Now, whilst each level is timed, it's very rare that it actually becomes a factor or an issue. Only if you're really casually while meandering your way through, or you're trying to be very completionist, trying to get all the stars in each level, and maybe you've got a bit off the beaten track. One of the key mechanics though in Cattch is that there's quite often in levels a switch that when you hit it, it spins the level. So it might be 90 degrees, it might be 180 degrees, whatever it does, suddenly what wasn't an issue perhaps because it was on the side of a wall is now the floor or the ceiling. And so that might be now firing missiles at you, or it might be revealing lots of extra bitey squares that you've now got to try and avoid. And I really like the way how rotating and twisting the world all the way around you, A, keeps you on your toes, but means that you get a lot of mileage out of smaller levels because it opens up new paths for you to go through and wander around and all of that kind of stuff. Now, the achievements in Platinum, kind of easy-ish. I didn't realise that there are cheats that you can do to push your way through all of the levels. I did it the proper way, and I'm not the best platformer or gamer in the world, and I was able to platinum this entire game and complete it within about 3-ish, 4-ish hours. So, yeah, I had a blast playing it. Didn't really want to use any cheats, even if I would have known they were available beforehand, because I think the gameplay is decent enough as it is. It's simplistic and straightforward, and it gives you exactly what it says it's going to give you on the tin. And sometimes we just all need to disconnect our brains and have a colourful, joyous, in-your-face platformer that's quite happy to rainbow yawn all over your screen. Written review will be over on higherplayinggames.com, but if you like your platformers simple, retro, but quite cute and fun to play too, without too much difficulty, Cattch might be up your street. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.